Hello, welcome to Laura's DIY Life. So normally I don't do things before I do a video, but this video is going to be different because yesterday I spent an hour doing this video, and when I went to upload it, it only uploaded like the last 5 minutes, so I took it off and now I have to redo the video. What I want to do is show you about making boxes without a die, or a template or anything, just going in and making them. And you can make whatever size really that you kind of want. So we're going to start first, just the simplest, okay? And the papers I've grabbed are the 9x9s from Crafter's Companion. This one looks a little bit smaller. That's been cut into. Anyways, and that's what I'm going to start with. And we'll go from there as far as cutting them down or whatever we need to do. So, I got my scoring board. And so, I need some paper. I don't want to use their, because they have the base and the thing up here, but I don't want to use that because I want to show you how you can adjust for yourself in case you don't have the scoring board that'll do that. Maybe I will only use the paper trimmer scoring that way. This is what I used yesterday. I didn't use the scoring board. So I'll just go to that. I'll just go back to that and not use the scoring board. So, okay, so we're going to use this score. And so I need a piece of paper, honestly, to show you how this works. And I think I'll use maybe just the back of one of these real quick. Okay. So my paper's 9x9. Here's a pen. But really, let's say I want a 3-inch box. Okay, so there's the bottom of my box, and I want that to be 3 inches. Now I've got to add on for my sides, right? If I want it just square, they're all going to be the same. So let's say I want it, these are 8x8. So let's say 2.5 and 2.5. That's going to come out to my 8 inches, right? 3, 5, 7, and then when you add the halves together, you have 8. That's your 8-inch square. So the way I'm going to do it, let me set this to the side. First of all, make sure this is an 8-inch square, 8-inch by 8-inch. Now, I want my box top to be a little bit bigger. So the way to do that is to make the bottom actually a little bit smaller. And so the way that I'm going to accomplish that is by just trimming a little bit off of my paper. So here it is at 8, right? So I'm just going to go to like the 16th mark, and that's what I'm going to trim off, is that 16th mark. And I'm going to do it on this side for this way, and I'm going to do it on this side for this way. And that's just going to make the base just a little bit smaller. So my lid would be just that much bigger. And it appears that I took more off one side than the other. Why is that? Maybe I took a little bigger piece off than I thought. Okay. But that's all you need to do is just take that difference off. Now, I know I want my sides at 2.5. So that's when I'm going to score, and I'm not going to worry about that cut. I'm still going to score at the 2.5 mark. See, I'm at 2.5. And I'm going to do that all the way around. Every side, I'm going to do that. And then 2.5, one more time. Okay. Now I'm going to pick the paper I want for the lid, and I'll just use these polka dots here. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to score it at 2.5 all the way around. I'm not trimming off of this one because this is the lid. I want the lid to fit over the base. So I just leave that little bit there. Did I do all 4 sides? Okay, I did all 4 sides. Alright, so now all I'm going to do is cut my tabs. I'm just going to cut up to that score line, where the score lines meet. And I'll do this one. This one. And this one. Now you want to cut your tabs down. And one of the things to do is to cut out this piece. And then I'm going to make this shorter, because it doesn't need to be that big. But I'm going to go ahead and cut this down. And then, so I'm just kind of doing it. I'll show you why. Okay, if I take these, and now let me and fold these over. Okay, when I go to put this in, see how that hangs over? Now that could be because I scored it bad, but you can kind of push it down in there because you have that room, because you've gotten rid of that little bit here. That's how you're going to get your sides even. Over here on this side where I haven't done that, you can still put it together this way, but you have a bigger chance now of, this one didn't so much, but see how there's a little bit of a hangover here? So you would have to trim that down. Doesn't happen every time. It just makes it a little bit harder to do. Now your box is going to be stronger on this side because you got all of this here. But I prefer to trim it. Even though you don't have to, I prefer to. And you can see I cut that one way shorter, but it doesn't matter. That's going to be inside the box, and nobody's going to really see it. Okay, so this is the lid. And these will go inside, and I'm just going to put glue on the tabs that I cut down. It's just a little glue there. Boy, and yesterday I used that glue from the Dollar Tree. that new stuff I had got, that clear stuff, no. No, I didn't care for it at all. I kept using it to try it, make sure I was giving it a fair shake, but no, I didn't like it. Now, another thing you're going to want to do when you do the lid, you're going to make the lid kind of looser, if that makes sense. You don't want it tight because you don't want it tight on the base. When you do the base, you're going to want to go more tighter, if that makes sense. Because that's the bottom. So looser on the lid is no issue. If that's what makes it fit better. Ooh, that one doesn't want to go in. There we go. Just hold it for a second so it can set up. Okay. And so then we have the bottom. And we're basically going to do the same thing. Cut the tab down. And you can cut the tab way down if you want. And then I'm going to make the tab smaller. So I'm going to cut the tab way down, make it smaller. That might have been more than I wanted it to be, but that's all right. Okay, and now score everything. Score everything. Score everything. Score everything. Score it and score it. Okay. And like I said, with this, you're going to want it tighter because it's the base, the bottom part, and you want the lid to fit over it. So even though you made the adjustment, if you make this looser than the top, you could end up still having trouble getting it on or over it. So we want this tighter. I mean, if you do the same on both, then that's fine too. I'm just saying, if one's going to be looser and one's going to be tighter, you're going to want the bottom tighter and the top looser. And I'm just talking about how you've got this lined up. Okay. And this one here is, of course, the basic. And you can see I do still, even after doing that, I do still have some here, some left. You could trim off both sides if you want, but I usually go ahead and do it this way. And then if I have some, I just trim it. But you normally don't see too much if you do your tabs good enough. Just hold it long enough to set up. And of course, I'm kind of speeding through this, but and this is a good time to bring clamps in, right, to hold it. Okay, so there we go. So now we take our lid and the lid will fit right over. Nice tight fit all the way over the box, right? Because we did the sides the same on both the lid and the bottom. A little bit harder to take out. But there we have it. Now, you can do this with any measurement you want. So if you want the sides shorter, then you add it up and you make the paper shorter. If you want your, or this one, this side. If you want your lid smaller, add up your dimensions that you want. So you're going to have the side, box, side, and you add those together. The side plus the box plus the side is how big you want your paper. Okay, I'm wanting to keep using the 8x8, so I'm going to try to stick within that size frame. So I don't want to do any measurements over 9 inches, but you can if you want to go, I mean over 8 inches, right? Because these are 8-inch squares, not 9-inch squares. But you know, you got 12 by 12, and you could do a 10-inch box with 1-inch sides. It won't be very sturdy, you know, but you can do that. It will work. I'm going to say, I'll just give you an example, and we'll do a rectangle. So I want a rectangle, and it still has to come out to 8 inches if I want to use the 8-inch paper, right? So let's do 3 and 2, and let's do our sides. 1.5 and 1.5. So I'm still going to need the 1.5 here and the 1.5 here. Okay, so I've got 3, so this is going to be 6, and then I've got 2 plus 3. This is going to be 5, so I need the paper to be 5 by 6 to make that size triangle. Here's where I'm going to shake it up. I want to fold my lid in. Can you see that? It gives it a neater finish. It's just neater. That means I need to add however much I want the fold to be. I need to add in. So I'm going to add 1/2 inch all the way around, which is going to add 1 inch because I need 1/2 inch on this side, 1/2 inch on this side. That makes it 1 inch. So these are actually going to become 6 by 7, right? I hope this is not confusing. I really hope. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. So I need my paper cutter. And first, I'm going to cut the 7. And then I'll go through and cut the 6. So 7. By 6. So here we go. So this is my 7-inch side. Now this is the base, right? So if this is the base, now I want to come and cut that 16th off. But, so 6, and I'm going to cut that 16th off on the 6-inch side. And then I want to turn it this way on the 7, and I want to cut that 16th off on the 7 side. And you need to make sure you're cutting the same off on both sides, or you're going to end up with a different size box. Because we aren't using these measurements for the inside of the box, we're using the measurements for the sides of the box, okay? So I want that 1/2 inch all the way around where I'm going to fold it. So I'm just going to score at that 1/2 inch line. 1/2 inch. Half inch. Half an inch. And 1/2 inch. Okay. And then, what did I say I wanted my sides to be? I don't remember now. Oh, okay, maybe it's on here. I want my sides to be 1.5 inches. So that means I got to go to 2 inches now because I'm adding it to that 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go to 2 all the way around. Okay, if you can see, it looks like a funny grid mark, right? What am I doing? This is the base. I'm sorry, I never fold over. I never fold over the base. For some reason, that doesn't look straight. I know I took that 16th off. I guess it is, but it sure doesn't look straight. Oh, well, I guess I'm going to have to fold the lid. I can't. I'm going to have to put another line in at the 1.5 inches. Because I didn't allow for that extra thickness for this to be folded. So we just have to remember, on this one, I'm doing the 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches. So I'm doing the middle line. It's not in the middle, but it's the middle line. Okay. That is not straight. Inch and a half. No, it's not straight. There. So 1.5 inches. Yep, that's what I need to do to get my right size box out of this. You know what? I think this is wrong too because I added the totals. Well, I'm going to have to just go with it and use the cuff over. And we'll see how that works. Maybe I'll alternate them. And that way they won't be too bulky at either side. So I'm going to ignore that middle. I hope I'm not confusing you all. Okay. And we still want to do the trimming it out. And I'm just alternating so that each side now will get a tab instead of just the two. And that should make it less bulky on either side, right? So the bulkiness will be all the way around. Yeah. So I'm going to score it here. I'm ignoring that middle line now. No. Yeah. Yeah. And that should give me a 3 inch square because of my, yep. Okay, these I'm gonna fold over. Here. This is some thicker cardstock here too. Okay. So the way I gotta score these lines too. Oh, that cracked. So it should tuck up under, and that's how I like to do it, where it tucks up under. Oops, this tucks up under here. The tab tucks up under, not the box. And that goes up under, and this goes up under. So then all we gotta do is glue those down. And it just makes it neater looking. It's just a neater looking box. So we just got to get glue on here. I'm going to cut this little tab off here just to take away some of the bulkiness. And that's just off the tabs, because they're the ones that's getting tucked under, right? So glue, don't mess up on me now. Ooh, I didn't mean to do that. Just spreading the glue out a little bit. Hopefully that's good. Got glue all over my fingers now. Got it on this tab, which I shouldn't have done. It would have to be on this side of the tabs. Okay. So, tab goes in. this goes over, right? Tab goes in, this goes over, tab goes in, this goes over, tab goes in, this goes over, and hopefully that glue, should have had glue in the tabs also, on the other side of the tabs to help hold it down, especially with the bottom, because that's when you want tight, right? I like this. I usually don't fold over the bottom part of the box, but I do like this. It is much neater looking. Okay. So with the bottom, I'm just going to use the original measurements here. I'm going to add that 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to go into, just like I did with this one, I'm not going to do that extra score that I thought, because I don't know what I was thinking, that I didn't need that, since I used the same measurements. And let's see, which paper do I want to use here? Let's use this one. If I can grab it. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to score 1/2 inch. This is going to be my fold line. Nope, first I got to cut my paper. 7. And don't forget, this one I'm not cutting that 1/16 of an inch off. This is going to be the top by 6. I'm going to change this, because I'm going to say, what if I don't want my lid to go all the way down? What if I only want my lid to go down 1 inch? That means my 6 only needs to be 5, and that only needs to be 6, right? So 5 by 6. That way I only need 1 inch, and then I have the extra 1/2 inch to fold it over. So I'm going to go back. This is 6, right? And now I need to go to the 5. To the 5. So I'm only going to score, I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch, and I'm going to score it at 1 inch. And that'll give me 1 inch going down. Okay? So 1/2 inch. And I need to, ooh, that's not lined up. There we go. 1/2 inch. Half an inch. Half an inch. And 1/2 inch. Wondering if that paper's not straight. Okay, now I'm going to go and score at 1 inch all the way around. 1 inch. 1 inch. 1 inch. And 1 inch. That's all of them. Okay. Now I'm going to cut my tabs. And got to be able to see them. Sometimes when it's pattern paper, it's easier to go in on the other side. And I'll alternate again. So I'm just going to do the same thing that I would if I was doing the base. Okay, now I can score my score lines. Move this away. And score along my score lines. And the 1/2 inch. That's not an inch. What am I doing? Oh, my goodness. Okay. It needed to be at 1.5 inches. The score lines needed to be at 1.5 inches. Not at 1 inch. See, this is why. Because I have to allow for the 1/2 inch for the fold, so I needed to do it at 1.5 inches. The good thing was I saw it before I did anything that I couldn't fix. 1.5 inches. And 1.5 inches. Uh-oh. I was lining that up. That's not 1.5 inches. Let's see, did I? Yeah, I really messed it up. 1.5 inches. That one looks right. Straight. This one doesn't. 1.5 inches. Yeah, just a little off. Not too bad. What about the others? They'll look okay. Shoot. So at the 1.5 inches, I'm going to cut here. And you shouldn't have to make these adjustments because hopefully you won't make that mistake. You've seen me do it, now hopefully you won't do it. 1.5 inches. So that other 1/2 inch has to come off. Okay. Did I do this right? We'll find out. Okay, now I should be able to get rid of this and do this. Oh my gosh, I'm afraid I've confused you more than helped you now at this point. So I'm scoring there. And at the 1/2 inch. Okay. And again, I want to come in and just cut this little bit off. Just so it's not bulky. You don't want to cut too much off because you still got to have a tab to go in. I didn't score my tab lines. Okay. Now I can get my glue. So the way this should be done right is underneath here, and then here, just so it's good and tight. And then that will fold down. Okay. Then you go underneath the lid and on the back of this. This folds over. This folds on top of that. Just like this. See, and I'm doing this tight. And this is the lid. Okay. And I'm going to put glue here. And on the tab. I can see a lot of people might end up being more confused by the time this is done. Okay, and then under here, but see now, because it's over here, it's tight. So you got to get it in there. And then on this side of the tab. And the lid is never, I'm not going to say never. I usually don't use as strong paper on the lid as I do on the bottom because I like the printed paper on the top. I got a big puddle of glue in there. And I want to show you, but I got that big old puddle of glue. I don't have anything to wipe it on. Okay, there's the bottom. Here's the top. Here. Let me stick some glue in there. I wouldn't do this, but I'm not using the box for anything. I might hold it together better this way. No, I don't think so. I don't think it's really getting down in there. Ugh. Glue on my fingers. Glue all over my fingers. Okay. Now, the lid isn't gonna fit. I think it's because of the extra thickness for the fold. See, it's just that little bit of extra thickness that's making it. That's why I said if you're going to fold the bottom over, you do want to allow a little bit more than that 1/16 of an inch. Otherwise, it's really tight like this. Oh, I got this glue all over my hands. It gets really tight this way. But it'll go on. And this glue is also away. It's just so tight. Because I wasn't planning on doing the folding with the base, and I messed up and figured, what the heck, I might as well go ahead and do it. But it messed up. But there it is. So if you're going to do the fold on the bottom, and like I said, normally I don't do that. I normally do not do that. But you need to allow more than that 1/16. You need to trim off more than that 1/16 of an inch. Did I trim both sides of this that 1/16? Oh, you know what? I didn't. When I made the adjustment, I bet I didn't. So try to remember that adjustment. Try to get your numbers right and not mess up the way I did. Try to get it right the first time. But here's the one I made yesterday. And then I just tied a bow on it. So, but this one, I didn't fold the box top. I mean the box bottom. Right? I kept the box bottom just regular way. And that's what I normally do. I usually will only fold the top. It's, I don't know, because I feel like the top is what everybody sees. And this just looks neater than that. Right? It just looks neater. But this is really quick. This could be really quick too if you don't mess up your score lines and everything. So, I don't know. Here I did this to help, and I feel like maybe I confused everybody more because I messed up my numbers and my score. Let me show you just real quick. If you, probably everybody knows it, but if you want a bow on top and you want to crisscross and have your ribbon go both ways, start out on the bottom and on the top, flip it over to the bottom, and then you can turn your box, flip it back up, stick the ribbon underneath there, going this way, and stick the ribbon under here going this way, and then just make your tie. I didn't hold it tight, but make your tie, make your bow. And that's how you do that. Make sure it's all even and staying the same way. See, I twisted it, but it's still the right way. So I can fix it without taking it off. And the same here. And there it is. I got it twisted there, but just pay better attention. I just did it real quick just to show you. Alright, that's it for now. If you like my videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you'll join me again. Bye-bye now.